I'm going to switch out here in a minute and we're going to get on with the Astrodoodle. I'll explain about doing the live mini readings. Most people who visit here know the routine already, but in case we get some newbies, I'll explain in a few moments. But first of all, let's get your Astrodoodle up and running. Okay, so settle in. Let's have a look here. Pisces, okay. Sorry, I'm still working on filling everything in, okay? So please bear with me, and we will eventually get there, okay? So just hang in. It's just work. It's just stuff that has to be done. Doesn't look like there's anybody here, so I'll just keep going anyway. This might be end up being one of those extremely quiet evenings. Oh, there's somebody there. Hi, greetings. If you want to check in, please let me know in the chat. The chat is active and live tonight, so we can go from there. That's a good starting point. Now, I don't know who's watching, or if you're a newbie, or if you've been here many times before. But I've been doing this Sunday night live mini readings for a few years now, and we're still going. So if anyone's interested, we can do that. I try to, put things out through, my email service so that everybody gets a heads up that we're doing the show. But I haven't had time yet today. I'm just, stretched out. Let's put it that way. All right, so I'll come back to this in a minute. I just want to say hi to people, say hello to people. Okay, so I don't think anyone's here, but I'll just check in so you can see that I'm a real life person. How about that? That's probably the best way to go. Greetings. For example, if you already have your own PayPal account for doing a lot of online business, that's very common, very popular, it's very effective. You can make a donation directly here to my email, alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. I don't know if you can read that. Let me just spell it out. People have been mentioning that it's hard to read. I really should, rebuild the stage or something. But I'll do it bigger here. How about this? Something like this. A little book about at yahoo.com. So if anyone wants to do a donation that way, this is how you do it. One way, it's the easiest way if you're already a PayPal person. you just send PayPal to alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. There's another way, if you're not quite so familiar, you don't have to have a PayPal account. You can actually go to terralumination.com on a separate device or something. For example, here, go to terralumination.com, click the donate page. It comes up with a donate button. You can press that. It takes you to the PayPal processor, but you don't have to have PayPal. You can just swipe a card just like you do at any online major shopping place. Okay, so that's the other way to go. Let's go back over here. Oh my God, I've been going all this time without audio. Is that correct? No, it's been there. And we were working on the stage and that was good. I'm sorry. I kind of have to start all over again. Jeepers, man. Talk about any... Thanks, Ron. I just figured it out. Duh. Thanks, Ron. So... I guess let me rewind a bit. I'm running a little late today. You might have figured out. I didn't put any email posts out. I'm trying to catch up. Lost time right now. I was trying to explain to viewers, like, if you want to go crazy and have a real live, genuine terralumination live tarot mini reading, you can do that. And there's kind of a process. But most people who come to the channel have been here before and they kind of know the routines quite well. But every now and again we got people visiting who don't have a clue what's going on, and it seems intriguing, so they hang out anyway. So yeah, thanks, Ron. I'm hoping it's fixed now. It looks like it's working here, like you and me. I'm reading you in the chat, so that's good. And I'm hoping you can hear me now. Anyway, I'm just trying to catch up. I was trying to tell folks that it's been a very strange day. I've been getting lots of bizarre news feeds and clips and links from friends across the world. And all they do is make you ask and wonder, what the hell is going on? Okay? It's not just me. It's not just you, Ron. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are starting to feel like there's something really, really weird happening on Earth. Mazda... Yes, Mazda, yes, you can. Let me explain. Let me go back and try to explain the donation thing again. So Mazda or Ron or anyone else who's watching, if you've never done this before, there's a couple things that you can do for donating. Number one, if you've already got PayPal and you're used to using PayPal for all sorts of things online, that's probably the easiest thing to do. You just, yeah, exactly. WW3, it's very dangerous to start talking about that stuff right now. But if you want to donate and get a mini reading, Basically, you can send PayPal money directly to my email. Okay, so thanks, Ron. I'm just going to explain it again for Mazda. It just showed up. So that's my email. You can send PayPal directly here. There's another way you can donate. Let me just explain. For example, if you've got multiple devices or multiple tabs on your computer, you can go to terralumination.com, click the donate page, click the donate button, and that will pull up the payment processor from PayPal, and then you can swipe a card. You don't have to have a PayPal account or anything. You can just scroll down and choose to pay by a card. Okay, so there's that way. And what was the other one? There is another one, but it's really not worth doing anymore, frankly. There's a system called Super Chat, but the way things are with the channel, there's really no point in sending it. It's the fastest, easiest thing to do, but the money goes into a black hole. You're pouring money into a black hole because it does not register in my account anymore, and it's I don't want to get stuck into that black hole about my status with YouTube. YouTube is an amazing thing. There's nothing that can touch it. There's parallel platforms out there that do similar things, but nothing on the sheer scale and with the amount of tools and power and opportunity as provided by YouTube. So I'm very grateful that I still have the channel, and I'm trying to keep it going. Anyway, here we go. So, yeah, best thing is PayPal or a debit card or a card or something like that. And then it'll show up here. I can check it. Let me know in the chat if you just did a donation. I'll check it in my emails. It shows up here really quickly. And then you'll get yourself your magic post-it note, and then you'll get your magic live tarot reading with Tarot Illumination rule. And like I often do, as I almost always do in fact, is I roll in some of the astrology at the same time. I use astrology personally. I've been doing it for many years, many years, mostly for my own edification, because I realized very young that there are things that go on in outer space that affect me very personally. And so I decided, what the hell is all this? And I realized, okay, well, it's the planets, and that comes to astrology. It's this, and let me go to the stage here for a second to make things more simple. Like, this is a traditional ephemeris. An ephemeris is let's say it's like a guidebook for the movement of the planets in our solar system. It's all measured in degrees in how it rotates around the sun. Okay, because everything in our solar system rotates around the sun, and it's all highly measurable. There's lots of folks over in NASA and science labs and space labs and SpaceX. They use this information all day, every day to plan out their space launches, their satellite trips, their Mars missions, their Jupiter, their Pluto missions, their telescopes, all their satellite warfare, all their GPS satellites. They all use this information. I just use it here for astrology. That's all. It's really all it is. So, Lina. Thank you, Lina. Good evening. Lina from Argentina. So a couple things were pointed out to me. I'm just going to... Oh, thank you, Mazda. Thank you so much. I'll check in with you about that very soon. A couple of things were pointed out to me that I didn't really notice earlier, and that was Path Traveler. She pointed out that several of the planets are actually in their own domain. Mars is in Aries. Mars rules Aries. Mercury is in Gemini. There you go. And what was the other one? There was a couple of others. Neptune is in Pisces. Yep. So that's, adds significance. The moon has been flying around doing things. The moon is moving very quickly. Of course, as always, compared to everything else, Pluto moves extremely slowly. Neptune moves very slowly. Uranus moves very slowly. I don't know if I missed something out there, but anyway, Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. The way the planets are spread out right now, it's like each planet has a lot of room between itself and the next planet. Enough room to sort of have a authentic self-expression of the traditional astrology representation of that energy. I've got to do this before I forget because I haven't even taken notes yet. So I'll come back to this in a minute, all right? But I just want to do things while they're still fresh in my mind here. So usually I make some notes before I do a show so I can get a kind of a guideline. I haven't had the time to do that this evening, so if things look like I'm running a bit ragged, it's because I am. Pardon me. Over the last few days, like I said, some folks have been sending me through email and links and whatever about some very bizarre things happening. And without going into extreme detail or getting myself in trouble with the platform and the algorithm, there's a very, very important video that's just come out of Australia about what is actually happening in Australia. And it's extremely disturbing. There are things being presented in the mainstream media to do with like flooding and fires, hurricanes, extremely bizarre, almost unaccountable situations that is causing absolute havoc and biblical apocalyptic phenomenon in Australia. And there are some people who feel that this is by design. Pretty much the whole of the world stage now, for anyone who's interested, has become aware of something called the New World Order, or fronted by the World Economic Forum, Agenda 2030, COP20. Some of you might have heard of financial things like ISO 20022. You might have heard of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. You might have heard of FedNow, things like that. It's about this whole new so-called fourth industrial revolution where humanity is going to change irreversibly forever. And what it is, it's a very, very elaborate, beautifully constructed, let's say, facade or optical illusion for a certain number of folks at the very, very tippity top of the pyramid of power and control and money and ownership of everything on planet Earth to take things to the next level. And they're doing this in very, very, let's say, I would say underhanded manners. I am one of these people, you could call me, God forbid, a conspiracy theorist. You know, there's probably all sorts of buzzwords that you're not allowed to say on your channels anymore because you'll be, let's say, demonetized, or all sorts of horrible, horrible things happen to you if you have been deemed socially unacceptable according to the big platforms. So if you have the big mass media folks out there, as you know, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, Reuters, PBS, Associated Press, New York Times, Washington Post, those kind of places like they are here in America, they represent mainstream media, and it's all, let's say, orchestrated, okay? Then there are places like here, you could call this alternative media, and I fit in that category because most of the people that I hang out with, it's a bad word for some people, but to me it's an echo chamber where I am getting my affirmations and beliefs reflected back to me in a way that validates me and makes me feel like I'm not insane. And so most of the sources of my information are what I would call highly trustworthy news sources that are based on facts and information rather than opinions and propaganda and mind control. Okay? Anyway, this stuff that's happening in Australia is basically a testing ground for what is going to be, let's say, projected across the rest of planet Earth in a highly organized manner. And right now, Australia is the testing ground for these folks at the very top that I mentioned their names. They are doing the things that they do, which I feel are very disturbing. Some people feel that these floods, hurricanes, fires, tornadoes, all these events of extreme, highly unpredictable, highly unexplainable phenomenon with climate are happening by design. Some people are even stating that there are mechanisms, devices, tools, EMPs, whatever you want to call it, that actually have the ability to do what is being done and what is being felt in Australia. So it's very scary. And I kept thinking, well, it does make sense to me as a professional astrologer. Oh, you look at Uranus in Taurus. Okay, it's at its kind of peak power right now. Uranus is a planet of like surprise, of revolution, of upheaval. It's a planet of great awakening. It's almost like Uranus comes there to shock you into wake up, people, wake up, wake up, wake up. And right now with Uranus in Taurus, the wake up call is for humanity itself regarding the way I look at it, especially money. Taurus being the sign of money, hard money, real value, real values, real assets. Things like earth, air, fire, and water. Those are all incredibly valuable substances, very material, earthly, Taurus things. There's all the plants, all the fishes, all the animals, all the trees, all the streams, all the rivers. And we feed off of all of this, and we inhabit all of this. And my feeling is that the earth is basically just being what it is. Like if human beings want to abuse the planet, there will be consequences. And from the astrological perspective, it's perfectly neutral. If humanity decides to blow itself up in a massive nuclear onslaught between all the nuclear powers and each other, then so be it. There you go. I think of, the transcendental planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto as the planets that contain things that most of us don't understand. So Uranus could represent shock and awe. Neptune can represent like the chaos, illusion, disillusion, what's real, what's not real. And out there, way out there is Pluto, like the great destroyer. Pluto systematically destroys anything and everything in its path that is irrelevant, obsolete, or untrue. And so there's been a massive demolition across planet Earth, and it's like a war. It's like an interface between the people who are looking for truth in reality and the people who want to propagate falsehoods in reality for their particular benefit. Been going on for a very long time. You can look at the United States Federal Reserve banking system and things like that. And the banking system across the world in general is starting to be really questioned, and the whole system is showing signs of being very brittle at any moment. Well, it's not any moment. There's a slow motion collapse, a demolition of the global financial system, and it's going to affect all of us, okay? Yes, Mazda, you can put your question there. Mazda, when we get to do your reading, let me preface it. It might be simple, something like I'm pretending I'm Mazda right now. Like, hey, dear TL, what messages do you have for me tonight regarding the subject of ... That could be a partner, a relationship, your health, your career, your finances, your living situation, your spiritual awakening, your children, your pets, your parents. It could be anything. If you can slot all that subject, your subject of interest, put it in 1 or 2 or 3 words, that would be really helpful, because then it gives you the maximum opportunity for exploration and exposure, especially if you've never done these kind of readings before. So anyway, I just want to, before we get into the readings, please hang in, Mazda, because you will get your reading. I have a bit of pent-up energy because I've been observing a lot of things myself, but I'm also just trying to mind my own business, which is what anybody should do, okay? career. Got it, Mazda? We got it. I got you. I see you. We will do that. Excuse me, I've got stuff in my eyes now. I'm really struggling with allergies and stuff at the moment. It's been tricky to sleep, tricky to breathe, all sorts of weird things I'm not used to. So, yes, Mazda, I will get back. You will get your magic post-it note and you will get your reading. Now, I mentioned that freaky stuff going on in Australia, and I have a link. I'm considering making a separate little video just to post that out for fun. I get so many links and incredibly interesting information from some of the members on the channel. And it really, really opens your eyes. It makes you realize, oh my God, I'm not insane. You are not insane. If you're starting to sense that there's something extremely, let's say, out of alignment with your perceptions about reality and this earth, what you're feeling, like what your body is telling you, what your physical body is telling you. Remember, your skin is an organ. It is the largest organ in your physical presence, and it is loaded with nerve endings and sensors, okay? It senses heat and cold. It can sense danger. It can sense radioactive energy, all sorts of things. It creates hormones. It breathes. The skin is an amazing organ. So your body, the way I feel it, it's built up of your body, your mind, your heart center, and your soul, the soul energy at the very, very pit of your being. And all of these components have a voice. They're like a sensory organ, you know. Those are the four main sensors. Like if you're driving your car, you've got the things on your dashboard. The four things that I have on my dashboard are body, mind, heart, and soul. And I keep an eye on that all day, every day, like watching the dashboard of a car when you're driving, okay? And a lot of people I can just hear it in regular conversation in a grocery store, or perhaps between Love Triber and Path Traveler, or Love Triber and some of her friends, and so on, other folks on the channel, that there's stuff that's very, very weird, and you can't suppress it anymore. The mainstream media can't suppress it anymore. They can try to distract you. Oh, look over there. Oh, look over there. Okay, look over there while we raise the taxes and change the laws and steal your guns and create hurricanes and tornadoes and burn down. I mean, it's bizarre. You have to admit, it's bizarre. They've had over 100 so-called accidents in the American food chain in the last, 18 months. And it's not accidental, people. There's no way you could suddenly, spontaneously have so many highly, let's say, I would say specialized, targeted, relevant, devastating incidents. You know, fires on trains, trains exploding, trains falling off the tracks, chicken farms, cow farms, pig farms, turkey farms, fish farms, all exploding, burned down, thousands and thousands of cows spontaneously dead in a moment, trucker problems all over America, frankly all over the world, shipping tankers, oil and gas, horrific problems. It's all over the world. You can't not report on this if you're the mainstream media. But they're trying to avoid it because it's a bit awkward, because they don't want you to know that they are engineering a collapse, like a controlled demolition of humanity and the financial system of which we are all a part. Folks like yourself and myself, we're probably mostly at the very, very bottom of the pile. No shame in that. It's just that's just how things are. And so, what was that thing about Australia? What did she? What did? Oh yeah, I just got another news tip this evening, just before I started the show, that there are massive floods and 63 people dead in Sydney, Australia. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's just really, really bizarre. And so what I'm hoping is that all of you basically mind your own business. Literally. MYOB. Mind your own business. Observe, be aware, see things for exactly how they are. Try to get above the propaganda and the lies and the deception and the betrayal that's been going on for hundreds of years and get into reality. Reality is where it's at. I'd much rather deal with reality and however brutal and harsh it is rather than live in a delusion. Australia is the testing ground. And the Australian lady who made that video, it's very difficult for me to talk about it because I don't know how much risk I'm putting myself on with the channel. But the Australian lady said, by the way, everybody there in America, you're extremely lucky because they're going to go after Canada, New Zealand, the British Isles, the British colonies. But you, as America, as an extension of the old British Empire, you've got one thing that we don't have. You've got the Second Amendment in your Constitution. And that Second Amendment was just validated in the last week as being bulletproof. Do not give up your guns, okay? There's a reason we have the Second Amendment in America. No other country has this. We're incredibly, incredibly lucky. There are other populations that cannot defend themselves against their oppressive leaders. And millions and millions and millions of people are dying now. If you go around Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, Sri Lanka, a lot of places along the equator are in deep, deep trouble. Millions and millions of people are dying. Millions and millions of people being displaced by floods. China and India, okay? Then these are facts, okay? There you go. Precious, yay! Dear me. Let me get back to the Astrodoodle. You know, actually, I just let Mazda, please be patient. I just need a couple minutes on the Astrodoodle, okay? Okay, here we go. So just as I predicted months and months ago, I was watching Mars very carefully. And it started here with Mars conjoining Pluto in Capricorn at the end of 2021 and early 2022, where the subject of war was going to become primetime news headlines. It wasn't acceptable at the time, so there was a lot of distraction and propaganda to look other ways. Then, in early February, Mars conjoined Saturn around here, and guess what? Exactly at that time, the war in Eastern Europe broke out. Very, very dirty, ugly, violent, bloody war. Then, Mars moved over here, conjoined with Neptune, and I predicted that the subject of war would be unavoidable in global mass communications, and the real depth and squalor of the war would be impossible to hide. Then I predicted over here, Jupiter would already be, sorry, I didn't mark that. Hold on, there's little Jupiter right there. I didn't mark it. Jupiter over here would expand the energy of the sovereign self. That's you and your right to be you. Your duty to be your most awesome self. And then Mars conjoined that, and the energy of humanity woke up, and everybody started to realize we are being abused. And it just blew up all the news headlines, all of the people who are sexually abused, all the people who are persecuted, and religion. Millions and millions and millions of people are saying enough is enough. protests and riots spilling out all over the world, everywhere, impossible to stop. And then I predicted once Mars turns hard square to Pluto and Capricorn, Aries and Capricorn are squared by nature, the subject of war would become unavoidable, but it would be now called World War, and eventually they're starting to call it now. They can't not report on it, and it's called World War III. You might have noticed that every single population, every economy, every currency on planet Earth is now being sucked in to this war. It's being used as an excuse or a distraction for other things by other countries for whatever reason. But it is war, and it is a bloody war. Mars is in Aries. Mars is exercising its right to shoot first, ask questions later. That could be very, very abusive, hyper-violent energy, like what is being used in Russia at the moment by the Russians. Same thing with China. China is born with Mars conjoined Pluto in Leo, and it's a hallmark. The way I see it with the Chinese chart, Chinese represents the Chinese Communist Party, has all the characteristics of a highly, extremely violent, abusive male predator. Go figure. Go astrology. Now today we have here, Mars has already moved on. It's going to be entering Taurus soon. And in about 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks, you're going to start to feel it, because Mars is going to be up here. Okay? Right here. This is about a month. Okay? Here's Mars. All right, here's Mars. In about a month, it's going to be over here. 17 degrees Taurus conjoined with Uranus, 18 degrees. In fact, it's already happening right now. But the closer and closer we get to the end of July and the beginning of August, the level of violence across Earth is going to, I think it's going to amplify and magnify dramatically. Okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up now. Mars conjoined Uranus, I am calling that out as very, 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 very jumpy, very, very unpredictable, highly irrational, erratic behavior regarding the use of nuclear weapons. Okay? So prepare now. Get yourself as much food, water, and protection as you can. Be prepared to protect yourself, your money, your privacy. Okay? However you have to do that, whether if you're in an apartment, a family, a home, a mansion, a condo, a boat, whatever, do whatever you got to do, because it's coming. It's totally unavoidable. That's why I've been watching Mars so closely over the last 6 months. It's highly combustible with these particular triggers. Okay? All right, let's move on. Enough of that for now. Mazda, let's do your mini reading here. And we're going to put question marks regarding career. I see you, Precious. I see you, Lina. Thanks for visiting. Just a little fun thing, people. You know I like to do my little maps and stuff. So everybody who's watching right now, in case you're not aware, this is Lina. Lina from Argentina. Okay, right there. Very close to Buenos Aires. Okay. There's Uruguay, there's Brazil, here's Argentina, and there is Lina. Okay? And over here is Precious Moments, over near Edmonton in Canada, up near the oil sands. Precious, I know you've had a lot of really tough situations recently. I don't know how you're handling it. It's freaking, it's terrible the way you've been treated. Just shocking. Let's have a look. I don't see anybody from... Hey, Ron, where are you from? Are you still here, Ron? Just, I love knowing where people are, where they're coming from. Starzy, if I recall, it's either, I think it's Chicago area or Florida. I can't remember. Let me just see. Okay. All right, so anyway, I'm just kind of curious. Sometimes we have people, there's, oh gosh, what's her name? Sarah Al-Shaiki from over here in Libya. She pops in every now and again. I love that. I love knowing where people come in from. Sarah comes in from over there. Karen Clark pops in now and again. She's over here in New Zealand. Sometimes we have Queen of Water from over here in soggy Australia. There's Karen! Yay! Greetings, Karen. We have all sorts of folks coming from the United States, and now and again on different shows we get folks from Europe, but the time difference between the United States and Europe is too weird at the time I do the shows, so they never really get to see it. But sometimes we get folks I haven't seen for a while. Mona from up here in Norway and her family. A bunch of folks over here in Britain and Ireland and Scotland and Wales. We've got, oh gosh, I can't remember her name, over there in Austria. Anyway, there we go. I'm trying to keep things super positive in such very disturbing, weird times. Ron Lucas, Decatur, Illinois. Okay, let's drill down here a little bit more. Okay, so there's Ron. Okay, here's, oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, there's Decatur, right in the middle. See that? I don't know if the map's not showing. Why is the map not? It's not focusing very well. I'm sorry, Ron. But there is Decatur. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think we got it. I think we got everybody. Let's have a look. Just one more plug before we get into the reading. Hang in, Master, you're almost there. It looks like we're going to have a very quiet show tonight because we've only got one reading booked so far. But let's do a reading and see if that stimulates anybody else to dare to jump in the waters of the unconscious. Or the superconscious. Let's call it the superconscious. How about that? Yeah. So, okay, so let me get the cards out here. You know what? While I shuffle the cards, I'm going to play a Tarot Lumination song, because people have been asking me, why don't you play your songs anymore? Okay, well, I'm going to get... I am guided. Let's have a look. Now, I know it's in my computer somewhere. It lives here as a file, and I should be able to play it. I just had it, and then it just disappeared. There it is. Why won't you come back to me? Come back to me. Okay, very weird behavior tonight from the computer. Come on. There we are. Let's try that. Here we go. I think I got it. I sing this to myself sometimes to try and keep myself optimistic. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. When the light of hope it fades, when all faith is blown away, when all sense of trust goes down, when a smile turns into frown, when it feels there's no relief, nothing in which to believe, desperate in woe and grief, angels come reminding me, I am guided, I am protected, I am guided, I am protected.
protected, I am guided, I am 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 protected. Angels gather close to me, show me what I cannot see. Angels take me by the hand, lift me when I cannot stand. Angels lead me through the dark, soothe and tend a broken heart. Laughing at the circumstance, crying while we sing and dance. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected.
There we go. I hope you like that song. I wish I could have tons of money and I could produce it properly and be a famous rich pop star. But anyway, let's see. Alright, so Mazda, let's have a look. Now when I do this, Mazda, I'm using the Lumination situational spread. It's a very simple spread, but it's extremely effective. It really helps me a lot in my own life. And I only use about 3 spreads in everything I do. So if somebody, I'm going to take this moment, Mazda. I'm taking advantage because this is a real live reading with a real live person. For example, so let's say things like, wow, that went really well. I need to go a little bit deeper here. You would go to tarotlumination.com, and from there you can figure out how to book a reading. You can go to the connect page, you can go to the readings page. Reading page goes to a buy button, you buy the reading, and then you connect with email, and then we schedule a time and day, and guess what happens? We actually have a live meeting, and it's just like this, but it's just me and you. There's nobody hanging around. There's no algorithm to worry about. We can talk about anything, okay? Sometimes you can literally go anywhere, do what you want in that kind of context. It's a very, I would say it's like a very safe place. In the meantime, we have a reading to do. All right, Mazda, thank you. So, it's a situational spread. And the concept of the spread is that in my channel here, you've got to reveal it to heal it. Ultimately, the channel is really about healing. It's about the healing power of love and how that energy can manifest in so many ways. And it's all about the intention, about steering the energy in the right way. It's kind of like laser beam focused radiation therapy, you know. But you need to know the problem. You've got to reveal it to heal it. I mean, if you come into a doctor or if you come into an auto tech place and you say, hey man, listen, my car it sounds really weird. Then the technician's going to say, okay, well, let's bring it up here. Let's put it on the diagnostic, and they'll figure out what the problem is. Once they know what the problem is, then they have a chance to fix it. So that's really all we're doing here, okay, Mazda? It's literally diagnostics. Sometimes there's a lot more stuff that comes up besides diagnostics, but we'll see, okay? So what messages do we have here tonight for Mazda regarding career? So bless this deck, bless every single card, bless the whole channel, bless the internet, bless all the software, the wires, the cameras, the electricity, the subscribers, the algorithm, all of it, so that it works and it keeps working. All right, here we go. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now, when you say the word career, to me it feels like it's sort of like a life destiny issue. It's usually associated with the 10th house in astrology. But also it overlaps with the 6th house, because that's associated like with work, with tasks, with getting things done that have to get done. Anyway, let's keep going. So I'm going to look at this card in a minute down here, and that's going to represent what I consider to be external influences, which is what I almost always exclusively attribute to the planets. So we have here the Three of Wands. Okay, my feeling is with the Three of Wands in this reading, in this situation, is that you have already planted seeds that are starting to show signs of fruition, to germinate and indicate a pathway, a destiny for your future, especially future career. And you wouldn't have this here. I don't believe you would have the Three of Wands here unless you had already, let's say, gone through some kind of apprenticeship or some kind of, let's say, process of elimination, trying to figure out what you don't want to do, like because that's tough depending on your age range. If you're in the school range or the university range or the midlife career change range, whatever it is, you kind of go through these periods where you've got to say, well, you know what, I already know I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, or that. So what are you left with? And what you get left with is the things that I'm hoping resonate with a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. Because there's that common saying, love what you do and do what you love. You put your heart into it. Now, sometimes people don't understand it because they think, well, what if I'm just a dishwasher at McDonald's or sweeper upper, or if I'm, doing Uber driving or something, and my heart's not in it, I'm just doing it to get by. What I'm suggesting is consider it as a growth phase, and you put the love energy into it anyway. You infuse it all with the healing power of love anyway. So with the Three of Wands here, to me it feels like there's a kind of a double message, like you have something to look forward to already because you've already planted seeds and nurtured a chance for a certain potential outcome, whatever that might be. But there's also the sense of expectation that comes with the Three of Wands, in that it's not exactly necessarily here just yet. And so that can leave you with question marks like, oh, you're looking at the landscape of your life and your world right now, but wow, so this is coming at me because I've built this, I've got expectations. You might have been born and raised in such a way that career is very, very important. You've had a lot of time and money and energy invested in you, either by parent-type figures or yourself, taken on college loans or whatever it might be, and there would be certain expected outcomes. Basically, it would be very nice for things to work out for you the way you would hope, especially if you've got particular ideas in mind about how you would like to channel your energy. Let's have a look. The situation itself, okay, it looks like we're still very, very open here. The Queen of Cups energy. Now, I don't know if you're involved in the healing arts or anything like that. In the broad sense, I'm talking about alternative healing, but also traditional healing I think they call it westernized medicine. By the way, Mazda, did I ask where you are? Like location-wise? I forgot, and I can't remember if I saw it. But I'm always curious. Anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. But anyway, with the Queen of Cups energy here, what this indicates to me is, you've already got a certain degree of status, skills, abilities, qualities, and you have a very, very generous aspect to your nature when it comes to the subject of career. And it's been, I would say, very hard earned. It's not like you were necessarily born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Even if you did have a silver spoon and you were born and raised in wealth and privilege, the position, I feel like who you are and where you are right now is something that you've already kind of built and nurtured in yourself. But you're at a point of critical mass now where there is a huge sense of how am I exactly expected or supposed to dispense my love, my healing energy. Queen Libra, yes, you can. Sorry, Mazda, I'm getting because I keep the chat over there because sometimes I get so involved in the reading I miss the chat. But I saw the chat bounce and someone locked in and said, Queen Libra, can I get a super chat question? Yes, you can do super chat, but please understand, Queen Libra, that the chances that I will get the money are almost zero. Because the way my channel is, let's say, maintained in the algorithm with YouTube. So you can put the money in there, but it's not going to come to me. It'll just disappear into a black hole, which will end up in the YouTube bank vault. Okay? So if you really, really do want a reading, the best way to go is PayPal directly to my email, or go to the terralumination.com donate page, and it'll come through directly that way. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can just swipe a card. Okay, Mazda, sorry about that. I got to get back to you here. So with the Queen of Cups energy, it makes me feel like you have a lot to offer. And it's like you're already infused with the healing power of love. You are, whatever the career might be, whether it's in food or medicine or technology or healing arts or whatever it is, it looks like you've got a huge reserve of energy that is poised, ready to go, to devote to the pathway. Now, if you're in a career pathway already right now, let's see, if you're in a pathway right now, but you're looking at something else, that would be understandable here. In fact, I'm trying to cover the bases, but it looks to me like this is very future-oriented. So even if you've got some stability right now, you might be really starting to want to consolidate and amplify and narrow your career path into something that is more and more and more specifically to you, where you can really really shine. Like, a lot of people have amazing gifts and talents and resources, but they're not in a situation where they can really shine. And I feel that that's what you really need, and that's really what you want, and that's what you deserve. What did that look like? That's a lot of love power over here with this Cups energy. So that's why I kept thinking about the healing arts in some way or other. Love Triber. Hey, Love Triber, could you help Queen Libra up there about how to donate money to get a reading? I can't do Cash App right now, and I was telling Queen Libra that Super Chat is basically a waste of time anymore, okay? Hello, Path. Good evening. All right, Mazda, let's start to drilling down. What kind of obstacles do we have here? What kind of, let's say, fears, obvious fears, or even very deeply hidden fears are, let's say, churning inside of you, okay? Okay. Maybe there's an issue of like career versus family going on here. Maybe it's like a lot of women deal with this, in that, like, if you are female, I don't know if you are female, Mazda. This just happens to be very strong feminine energy. You can have a very, very powerful feminine type healing energy in a male character, okay? And again, the question is, what are you going to do with all that? How do you consolidate? How do you refine? How do you specialize? It makes me feel like you really would really benefit by being in something very specialized where you can really, really shine. And that might require a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of investment, where career becomes a huge component of your life to the exclusion of potentially family dynamic. You know, some people realize, oh my God, it's either family or career. Like, I can't have the career if I have a family. Like, if you have ambitions, or if you are already in a family and you are, let's say you're a parent, or you're concerned, like if you don't have a family yourself, but you are concerned about your parents in the family dynamic, how is this going to affect your parents and how they're going to look at you and treat you? Are you going to be, by choosing career over family, are you going to run into serious problems there? Or are you going to be excommunicated from, let's say, certain like family traditions if you go for career and put family as a second thing, okay? So my feeling is that deep down, you really, really love and understand the value of family and how much joy and happiness can, let's say, can exist in the family environment. Whether you're a parent, whether you're an adult child of other parents, the family environment here and the love that flows there. If this is in serious jeopardy because of, let's say, career ambitions, let's say you have not actually locked into a career yet, because it looks to me like there's something, like you're actually looking forward right now. What's that? It's funny. Someone from the job just texted you. Oh, that's weird. Wow, that's weird. Well, it's not weird. That's perfectly normal for this channel, for Tarot Lumination, and so on and so on. So this would be a very understandable concern if career gets in the way of family, or if family gets in the way of career. Because it looks like you have a lot to offer in the context of career, but it looks like you understand the value of both here, career and family, okay? Hello, Necessary Truth. Good evening, and how are you? Now, how are we going to deal with this? Now, I'm not telling you exactly what to do or how to do it. This is a situational spread. We're just looking at the situation. Pretend I'm in one of those AWAC, whatever it's called, extremely high altitude airplanes that do lots of surveillance over the huge landscape to find out what's going on. Once you see some issues, then you can drill down with the radar to tight focus to see what's going on closer down. But right now we are taking a very broad overview. And so that's the only way I can talk about it. I can't talk about this in terms of whether you have to go into food, medicine, finance, transportation, technology, or whatever. That's not really the point here of the reading. To me, it looks like the energy behind career, the energy of the swirling energy of what's happening inside of you. How are we going to deal with this issue here? Okay. To me, it feels like with the Three of Swords here, there's going to be pain either way. Like if you choose career over family, then there will be some grief, sadness, heartache, and you will feel it very clearly, like in the mental realm. Okay. Remember, this is a Swords energy. It's not Cups energy. No one's going to destroy your love. No one's going to destroy your, let's say, ability to transmit the healing power of love in whatever context of your career might be. Law, accounting, medicine, doctoring, whatever it might be. Wherever you choose to direct your energy. It looks to me here that if you choose a rich, loving family type of situation, either to conform with family traditions or to get yourself in a family way where family becomes the number one thing in your life, then your expectations and ambitions in career basically turn into a very sad, painful goodbye. And it's the same this way. If you choose the career over the family, the way the cards are showing now, it's like it's already predetermined that if you choose career over family, then the chance for family blessings and opportunities diminish. So this is a very, let's say, open-ended reading. There's no reconciliation here. Looks to me like you're really in a between a rock. It's like you're between what's that expression? Between a rock and a hard space. You know. Now this doesn't have to be set in stone. All that's happening here with the situational spread is that we're kind of taking an overview of the situation, and it might be that you simply hold these energies inside of you, like you've already kind of established inside of yourself, like, well, it's either career or family. It's one or the other. And you might have been, let's say, conditioning yourself so strongly in that way that that's actually what comes into reality. You know, like what a neuro-linguistic programming. So, and you can eventually you can tell yourself, well, I told you so. I knew if I went for a family, I would lose all my career opportunities. Oh well. And then you can say to yourself, well, I told you so. If I did I get that the right way? If I choose career over family, then I lose all that family stuff. So it's like either way, whichever one you choose, there's going to be sacrifice. And that's going to be your personal internal sacrifice. That's how I feel it is over here. And it's not like anyone is going to force you one way or the other. But it feels to me like you've already kind of pre-programmed yourself, like it's either this or that. It can't be a combination. But in fact, there are people who do combine family and career. It is possible. I had a doctor came over here to the house to visit me the other day to do a checkup. And we had a fantastic time. It turns out she was married and had already had 2 grown-up children, but she was still very active in her career, and her career was healthcare and medicine. And she has both, and she had both. She actually had both simultaneously. She worked her way up in career at the same time that she worked her way up in family, in the family way. So it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive energies, okay? In other words, you might have been persecuting yourself, Mazda, basically telling yourself, convincing yourself over and over, it's either or. And either way, if you do it that way, it's going to be pain. It's going to be your pain brought on yourself accordingly, and then you have to live with that. But that's almost like you've done neuro-linguistic programming on yourself, and it's not necessary because it's possible to have both. Okay. I wish I could give you a kind of a big love hug right now, whoever you are. You know, I just want to give you a big love hug. You don't have to condemn yourself to either or. It feels like you have a lot to give, and you want to give everything you can to what is the most appropriate thing for you. And if it's about job/career, then that needs to be considered. If someone's, waiting for you to make a really important decision, you got that call from the job, they texted you, and they're saying, hey, Mazda, have you made up your mind yet? Is it going to be career or family? Are you going to leave us and get in the family way? Whatever, I don't know the details. We don't have to do that here and now. If you want to do follow-up heavy-duty readings, you can do that, Mazda. Like I said, go back to TerraLumination.com and book something. We'll go deep diving into all this stuff, help you figure out and understand it, all right? But right now, this is about all I can offer. And I hope that helps you. Hope it sheds light on your situation. The diagnosis is that, my personal feeling, the diagnosis is that you've kind of built yourself a bit of a trap. And it's not necessary to be that way. It's possible to consider wider horizons that include multiple overlaps, okay? All right, so I'm going to shuffle this up. I'm going to put in... Oh, people have been saying, play some of your songs, TL. Waiting on the will of heaven today. That's a long song. I could play, bounce it up in the air. Let's be happy. I'm going to see if I can play Let's Bounce. Or The Bounce, or whatever it's called. It's not showing up here. Maybe I didn't do it right. Give me a second. Oh, my poor computer's getting old. It's showing its age. Now this should be an MP. Alright, let's have a look. Oh man. It's really, I don't know, my poor little computer, it's just struggling so much. I've been running a lot of powerful software for so long in this computer, and you know, computers age a little bit. So let me just, Mazda, let's wrap this up. If you want to follow up some more in private, if you want to go into much deeper detail, we can do that, okay? All right, I'm going to go over here for a second. All right. Okie dokie. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. All right, let me go back over here. Okay, let's have a look. Let's clear that up. Now I just gotta go check in with the chat. Let's thank you very much, Mazda. Necessary Truth on PayPal. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think I see what you're telling me. Wink, wink. Let's have a look here. Most of you know Necessary Truth. She's up there in the Bronx, Brooklyn, New York area. Bronx area, pardon me. There we go. All right, let's have a look. Thank you, Necessary. Thank you so much. Now, we tend to have a very jolly time here when Necessary shows up, because she has a whole host of invisible friends who are sometimes, in fact frequently, not so invisible. They tend to like to show up. Usually it's by invitation. Sometimes they just love to show up for the fun of it. Let's go over here. Hey Mazda, thank you so much. I hope that helped you. Please let me know. Please get back to me. You can use that email down there if you'd like. Go to terralumination.com. You can follow up from there. Okay? Now, Scotlo. Okay, I don't know how to say that, Scott. And I don't know what code you're asking for, so I don't know how to help you there. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Necessary. Let me just check in with folks. Hello, Scott. Hello, Queen of Water. Where's Queen of Water? I didn't see you arrive. There's Love Triber. Hello, Love Triber. Thanks for all the fun, the entertainment, and the amazing lessons. And I think I saw Path Traveler. Yes. My gosh, so much amazing, interesting stories coming in from across the world. My gosh. There's Queen Libra. I don't really have Cash App. Sorry. I'm just scrolling back through the chat to see if I missed up stuff. Oh, Mazda. Oh, you're in Wyoming. I didn't see that. Oh, okay. There's Ron up there in Decatur. Okay, we got that. Mazda is over in Wyoming. Okay, let me go to the map. I want to show people that one. I don't think Queen of Water is here. I think what we're actually seeing is Queen Libra. And that's okay. But it looks like Necessary Truth might have just saw the Queen part and just thought that was Queen of Water. Queen of Water is over in Australia. Where are you, Queen Libra? Okay, so that Queen Libra is new. I don't remember you hanging out here before. Mazda is up there in Wyoming. I have Junior. Hello. And Necessary Truth is saying basically is basically requesting for Chris to jump in on the reading. Okay, fair enough. We can do that. No problem. Ave, I don't know how to say that. Did I say that right correctly? Ave Jr. It sounds like an Israeli name. Ave. I'm not really sure. Okay, and then we got, there's Queen Libra, Mazda over in Wyoming, Lina in Argentina, Ron in Decatur, Precious up there in Edmonton. I know I know Path Traveler is over in Kentucky. Uh-oh. Hold on, I gotta check something here. Give me a second. Okay, we're good. Just stuff happening in the house. Yeah, blessings to both. Yes. All right. So, we might as well just jump in. If anyone's got some weird stories they want to share, please go ahead and do so. Chat amongst yourselves in the chat on the side. I know sometimes happy-go-lucky, Necessary, I have a question to ask you with your permission. There you go. So if you want to do stuff on the side, like some people do side readings, sometimes we have other readers that pop in and they kind of do alternative side readings. Sometimes some of you might know Robin's Realms reading. Some of you, of course, have heard of, I'm sure you've heard of Joanna the Medium. She was here recently. She has a very big channel. Done very well. Huh. I don't know how I knew. It's just something that that is phonetically, and the way the letters are arranged. A-I-V, Ave, There's an actor called Liev Schreiber, and I think he is. He's not. He's an American, but I believe he might be. I think he's Israeli, and he is. He's boyfriend or husband with that other girl, and I think she's Israeli too, and or Russian or something. Amazing names. Okay. All right, let's have a look over here. So it feels like it might feel like I'm sort of wandering. I'm just trying to watch several things at once before I actually dive in on the reading for necessary. Okay. You know, before we do the reading, I want to just do a couple of little catch-ups here. Right. My computer. I'm trying to pump. Basically, what's happening here with the technologies, I use so many layers of technology. It puts. I have a really good computer, but the way I do things, it puts a lot of demand on the processors and the video card and everything like that. So sometimes things don't behave properly. In other words, they misbehave, and I can't get things to do what I want them to do. So right now, at this moment in time, I just wanted to check back in with the Astrodoodle to remind everybody that everything is exactly as it should be. And why is that so? Well, it's because it can't be any other way. Things are the way they are. It's an amazing thing to me how the planets correlate with highly predictable global events and themes. Okay? And we've talked about this many, many times. So right now the sun is in Cancer, and tomorrow in America is a very big day. It's the 4th of July, and it celebrates the birthday of America as we know it today, 4th of July, 1776. And that has been a very important topic on this channel, especially when I do my rants. Sometimes I do videos during the week where I kind of go off topic. I go off of the astrology a little bit, off of the tarot a little bit, and I start delving into my own personal things about how the planets influence events here on Earth. And I've been doing it for a long, long time. And I wrote that book, some of you know. And all of that's basically coming true, basically word perfect. It's very comforting to me because it makes me feel like, yeah, I actually know what I'm doing. But it's also very disturbing because what's actually happening in that book is very true. And it is very disturbing. In case you're not aware, this is my masterpiece here. Here's Tarot Lumination. I wrote this book years ago. It's called Wealth, Money, Finance. I'm not a financier. I don't have any money to speak of. But for some reason, I've been exposed to big money in certain different unusual ways. And I've had a close-up observation of what happens in that world. And I decided to write about it because I knew some very scary things were going to happen, especially with the starting date of January 2020. And that's exactly the date when we had the Cancer-Capricorn eclipses, which set off the alarm bells across the world that a bioweapon had been dropped, and it created a massive, massive shockwave that is vibrating and resonating across the planet even today, and it's going to resonate for years to come. And that's what the global restructuring is all about. Here we are 2.5 years later, and it's amplified even bigger and louder than I could have ever written or known, okay? So it's happening right now. The sun is going to be a few degrees farther over here tomorrow, and eventually the sun is going to be in hard opposition to Pluto. Sun opposite Pluto can bring about extremely stark awareness of identity and selfhood in ways that can't be observed or understood with any other planet. It's the ultimate in opposition. If you look at it this way, if you think of the sun at the center of the solar system, When you have Sun opposite Jupiter, you have characteristics. You have Sun opposite, Mars, Sun opposite Venus. You can get certain understandings of your nature, your personality, your identity. When you go with Sun opposite Pluto, anytime you're talking about an opposition, it's an energy field that really can only be understood in the context of one-on-one relationship, or you with the rest of the world. So with Sun opposite Pluto coming in a matter of days, what I feel is going to happen is that the United States, as we know it, is going to kind of open up, and the mass media, mainstream media, and the main theme, whether they actually use these words or not, will be identity crisis. Okay? The United States is going through an incredibly profound, disturbing identity crisis. Some of you know on some of my rants, I've been going on about the Pluto return for the United States. You can't experience as a human body, because our bodies usually expire after 70, 80, 100 years or so. But the United States is a living entity. Okay? And it birthed itself in 4th of July, 1776. And here we are today, 48 years later. Pluto is exactly at the same point as the birth. Okay? So you call it a Pluto return. If some of you have heard about Saturn return, there's also a Jupiter return. There's a Venus return, all sorts. But the Saturn return is the famous one, because that's the one where everybody kind of goes, oh God, I've seen how I screwed up with my life at age 29 and a half. Oh my God, okay? So with the Pluto return, it's kind of like Saturn return on an extreme scale. Because we've basically taken this beautiful thing that we have in the United States. Let me see if I can find it here. Where did I hide it? Give me a second. I'm going to search around. Okay, here we go. Some of you know I talk about this frequently. We have this thing. I don't know if it's going to show up. We have a thing called the Constitution. Almost every country on earth has a constitution of some kind. It's kind of like their operating code. And it was created soon after the Declaration of Independence. Okay? Declaration of Independence, that's 4th of July. That's the founding people of this country. And the reason I'm saying identity crisis is because America has reached that threshold point of like, oh my God, what's happening to America? You can't hide it anymore. The mainstream media can't bury it in sports, movies, Hollywood gossip, disasters, game shows, reality shows, fantasy escape shows. It's unavoidable. Pretty much anywhere, everywhere you go in the United States, everybody, to a certain degree, has some kind of very deep, profound awareness that there's something very, very wrong here, okay? And you wouldn't be out of order feeling that or believing that or sensing it, okay? You're not alone. And there are millions, in fact, billions of people in the rest of the world that are noticing the same thing. Like, what the hell is going on with America? What are Americans thinking? How did you let yourself implode? How did you allow yourselves to be so completely and utterly corrupted and diminished? We used to look up to you. Some people didn't, but a lot of countries have benefited from our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. All right, let's get on with it. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant there. I felt I had to say something about 4th of July in case I don't have video tomorrow. But let me check the chat here, because Necessary is talking about whatever it is here. Let's see. Back of your mind. Necessary December, mid-December. Hold on, what are you guys talking about? Oh, happy-go-lucky. Hey, Necessary, do you connect with Chris and John daily? Yeah, what's your question? On the back of your mind. Necessary. December, mid-December. Okay, happy-go-lucky. Okay, that leads my next question. Is the reason you call them into the reading? Okay. Like it's okay for them to be on the sideline. Okay, I'm reading this, okay? Necessary. I don't read for myself. That's ego. E-G-O. Exiting God out, okay? Yes, you get messages from team all the time, but ego gets in the way, okay? Let me give you an example, Happy. My guides told me I was going to get a new car in November, a year before. I was like, oh, hell no. I'm getting a new car. No, thank you, but thank you. Okay. Happy-go-lucky is like saying... So, I'm sorry, I'm kind of reading out loud to myself here with everybody else. Have you ever considered to allow that's what else might come in if you ask for TL's guides inside? And then Necessary. In November, my car was total, wiped out, done. And I did get a new car. Did they tell me how? Nope. But they were on point. Very, very interesting. Very beautiful. It's a beautiful story. I'm really glad you guys typed that out on the screen. All right, now. So my guess, I don't know. So we're going to do a reading now for Necessary Truth. Let's get over to where we do the work. All right, let's have a look. Cheers, everybody. It's thirsty work. I'm going to shuffle just a tiny bit more, and then we'll actually get on with it, okay? So what kind of messages do we have here tonight for Necessary? I think Chris was invited in. And, yep, we will allow for that. Yes, you can. Yeah, okay. All right. Sorry, I need to shuffle a tiny bit more. All right, what kind of messages do we have here tonight for Necessary Truth? As conducted through the Lumination channel with Chris at your side. All right, here we go. Here's the situation. Here's some challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's look at the external influences, whatever they might be, planets, people, or whatever. All right, let's have a look. King of Cups. Oh, well, so, dear Necessary, I think this feels like it's like a combination of energy. I don't know why I'm sensing it's to do with the planets, particularly Mars and Jupiter. Over here. But what I'm sensing is the King of Cups here is kind of represents the really enormous benevolent aspect and expression of this energy here. Jupiter in Aries and Mars in Aries. This is a very like strong, like a super hyper strong energy field, and it's easy to, let's say, lose it. It's in some ways it's highly combustible because of the Mars energy. Mars in Aries is very much the combat frontline warrior. It's very much shoot first, ask questions later. It's Mars basically in very, very strong form. I am right. I am me. I have the right to be me in my most divine, awesome self. And the Jupiter in a positive expression here would be like supreme abundance in selfhood. I know it's a very masculine card here, the King of Cups. And this is a reading for you, necessary, and you are female. We know that, okay? So, my feeling is that like you've got this strong energy field behind you that's working for you, and it's like you're already tapped into it, but you might not think about it. It's like it's already there, it's working for you, and it's something that you can lean on, it's something that you can trust. And for some reason it feels, even though it's easy to say that Mars energy could be very hostile, or the Jupiter and Aries energy could, represent like complete overblown egomania or something like that. I don't feel that at all. What I've been feeling here is that they've actually been working in a very complementary way for some people, not for everybody. And it's something that you can tap into. It's like, you've already got a lot of girl power, and you already have, let's say, a very powerful connection with your guides, and from there into the healing realm, the world of mediumship, the world of healing, where you operate as a professional. What I'm sensing here is just it's sort of like a reminder. Please don't forget, dear necessary, how awesome you are, how hard you have worked to get to this point where you can, be a channel, be an instrument of huge amounts of energy. It's like having the strength of how can I describe it? Not like a supercomputer, but more like a see the Jupiter energy, like Jupiter. Okay, look, here's another way I can try to say it. See if this makes sense. If you think of Jupiter as the great benefic, the giver of gifts, the bringer of expansion and joy and wonder and healing and growth, and then you add Mars to that, it's like being superpowered. It's like having your superpower spacesuit, superpower, superhero equipment, credentials. And it's a reminder, it almost feels like a reminder, like, dear necessary truth, even though you would be considered by most standards very female, very feminine, do not forget that you have massive power at your disposal, and that you've earned it, and that you've already proven very worthy as being an instrument of the healing power of love in day-to-day life in the world, and you administer and dispense this energy in very noble, extremely responsible ways. And you do not waste that energy on anybody or any time or any place. This is hard-earned and hard-deserved. Something not to be squandered. Just a reminder, okay? Also, the Cancerian energy is very strong right now, and it's kind of in contrast with that. So the sun is very lit up here, but it's in a square. So maybe this is what's actually triggering my feeling about what it's all about, the reminder, okay? And as far as I recall from previous work, you have a strong Cancerian theme in your nature somewhere. Let's have a look at the situation itself. Okay, so with Five of Pentacles here, obviously money is on your mind. Nothing to be ashamed of. Money it's like water. It's like food. It's like gasoline. It's like electricity. It's like it's essential to human life. The way life is being built these days, you can't function without it. Now, it never used to be that way. For hominins, we call ourselves Homo sapiens, the wise ones. And then there's Homo erectus, when people started walking upright. But the human type creature goes back about 2.5 million years. And most of the times when I think about past lives and stuff like that and potential future lives, my deepest experiences are mostly within the last century, half century, or 3 or 4 centuries. But the reality, from my perspective, our past lives go back for thousands and thousands and thousands and even millions of years. I believe that there are soul energies that reincarnate, and relationships are built up over time. And there was a time way, 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 way back where the subject or the concept or the phenomenon of money didn't really even exist. The way humanity interacted was through exchange, barter. Give me some of this and I'll give you some of that. Or, hey, I want some of that. Would you like some of this? And at every step of the way, there's hazard. There's the potential that you don't get what you're promised, or you don't give what you promise, and there ends up as hardship. Also, people sometimes don't look at it, but there are 2 characters in here, and some people call it like the blind leading the blind, because it sounds strange. I don't want to diminish anybody here. But, for example, one of the reasons I had to get out of Los Angeles is because I started to feel very, very sick physically, having to be so near to so many thousands and thousands of homeless people right outside my doorstep, everywhere you go. Literally, you have to walk over, step over them to get into the grocery stores, into a cafe, onto a bus, across a car park, into a business or whatever. Or just driving down a street. And what you start to notice after a while is that like birds of a feather flock together. In that neighborhood where I used to live, multimillionaires would hang out with multimillionaires. And, half a block down the street, 20 homeless people in tents would be hanging out with 20 other homeless people in tents. And it's very noticeable. What's that street, that neighborhood in Philadelphia, Kingsbury or something, Kenworth, Kentish Town or something like that. It's that particular neighborhood in Pennsylvania which is kind of famous on YouTube for showing all the people who are crippled and debilitated through self-abuse, through drug abuse, through violence, and so on. And so you see people crawling in a fentanyl ball, and they hang out with other fentanyl users. Same thing with junkies, same thing with alcoholics, same thing with people who've ended up being extremely poor, deliberately or by accident. And so there are these relationship dynamics. And like, where do you go? Some homeless people are aware of this and they don't associate with any other homeless people. They are completely isolated and they're frightened of the traditional ways of life, and they don't have anyone to turn to in the homeless world, and so they're extremely hyper isolated. But I'm going off on a tangent here, sorry Necessary Truth, but I'm trying to put a point across in that there are chapters in life, abundance, lack of abundance, abundance, lack of abundance, more money, less money, money coming in, money going out. Sometimes there's too much money going out and not enough coming in. But either way, the subject of money here is the issue. And it makes me feel like you're looking at your life and your world around you in terms of the relationships that you keep. These could be intimate, personal, one-on-one relationships. This could also be clients. This could also be your peers in the workplace. also your peers in the professions of mediumship, and so on. And it makes me feel like when I see the Five of Pentacles here, it's the understanding that the value is there, the abundance is there, but how do you tap into it? Has the market diminished? Has the flow diminished? Are you in a situation which is what's it called, self-fulfilling? You know, the little story you just told, a story on the chat there about messages from your guides and the new car, and you had an accident and lost the car and everything like that. Okay, so with the Five of Pentacles here, my feeling is that it's really, really, really important to look at your relationships in a very, very objective way. Not passing judgment or getting emotional about it, but just being very, very, very realistic about the relationships that you're keeping and where is the value and where is the loss. Like if things are not working out properly in the workplace or the career place, it probably is at least partly to do with close relationship dynamics. Might be with co-workers or bosses or peers or people that you have to supervise or whatever. If it's one-on-one personal relationships, it's an indication that let's say you're feeling very kind and generous, okay? And it would be like some people, they just naturally, they can't help themselves. They're compassion junkies. They just give away everything they have. Oh, you need some help? Here, buddy. Need some help? Okay, whatever. And I'll figure it out. And you keep going on the belief in perpetual, unending abundance, which at the spiritual level, of course, is true. And you're already a living example necessary because of that story you told with the car, if you read back through the chat. But in the short, this feels like we have to look in a very tight lens at the short-term situation right now, because it isn't just about you. The whole of planet Earth, as I told you earlier in the show, is convulsing with financial, highly volatile, highly unpredictable upheavals in the financial world. Like some people, for example, who are deeply vested in the traditional financial models, like they might have pension plans, savings plans, retirement plans, what are they called, 401ks, IRAs, very long-term, what's it called, 60-40 accounts with the big fund managing groups. You might be aware that some of those big groups are suffering trillions of dollars in losses. And that affects pretty much everybody on Earth. The scale is so enormous. And you're in a position now where I feel like you can't avoid the subject. It's not, like, even if you feel that you are okay compared to other people and you do have resources and stability for the long term, but just in the short term you are concerned, my feeling is that if you are concerned, I don't want to force the issue, but it feels like you need to be extremely concerned right now. I feel that you need to be looking very, very closely at your portfolio. You know, that's a big fancy word for wherever it is you've got all your money stashed. Okay? And understanding, like, you know, there are people around the world who do that. Hold on. They do that. They manage portfolios. They take money out of here and move it over here to create more and more growth and more profit and reinvest and continually build your assets for the future. Okay? Now, you might have heard of this thing. Path Traveler told me about this one, and it went through Love Triber and everything, and it was a very beautiful but simple kind of story, and it kind of explains everything because it affects every single person on planet Earth, and it is to do with the The global financial system, I've talked about it many times, the United States Federal Reserve, the banking system, the world of fake money, the world of real money. Fake money is fiat money. It's all based on debt. It's created out of nothing, and it's a massive, highly successful illusion. And people believe that money is currency. They believe that currency is money. They believe that those bits of paper, those bits of metal, those digits in those accounts is money. But it's not. It's really currency. It's just tokens, representations. Real money is like hard stuff, like, do you own the title to your house? Do you own the title to your car? Do you own all the food in your refrigerator, or did you buy it all on a credit card and you actually owe money to a credit card company for that food? So right now there's this thing called Aladdin, which is this monster supercomputer. Thank you, Path Traveler, by the way. I did see that. Aladdin is this incredible, mind-boggling, powerful piece of computer software that is essentially doing high-speed trading. It's called high-speed trading, and it's the buying and selling of stocks and bonds all across the world in real time at very, very high speed to capitalize on microscopic fractional movements in the marketplace that a traditional human trader can't typically match. And so this software was designed and came into being from this fellow Larry Fink, who is the boss over at BlackRock. BlackRock is the biggest asset manager on earth. I don't know how many trillions they have under management, AUM, but it's absolutely trillions and trillions of dollars. And everybody on earth is impacted by BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, Berkshire Hathaway, the United States Federal Reserve, and the massive printing press in America. It affects what we do here with those institutions, has enormous direct influence on the rest of planet Earth, and also directly down to you in your own personal wallet, your own personal portfolio. And you have to understand that Aladdin's job is to profit. That's it. It's the only mandate, by any and whatever means necessary. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And when you do actual currency trading, especially if you do currency trading, let's say I'm a really good currency trader and I do live currency trading. When I win that trade, that means someone else lost. I got my money by winning it from somebody else. Most people lose when they do day trading. There are a few people I know of who can actually do it very well, and they make a lot of money. But it's very hard to do. And these are intuitive skills that can beat the computer. But in general, most people cannot beat this computer. The point I'm trying to get at is that this computer has no soul. It has no moral compass. It has no empathy. It has no compassion. It doesn't have any concern for the side effects of death, loss, disease, failure, collapsing economies, collapsing corporations, collapsing people, environmental destruction. All of that stuff is completely and utterly irrelevant to Aladdin. The only thing Aladdin cares about is making more and more and more and more profits, second by second by second by second. And it's taken it to the limit right now, and it's starting to show all over planet Earth. It is literally, it's almost like the software that's behind the faces. And it's like this massive, the beauty of it is that it's extremely good at what it does. The scary thing is that it's so good at what it does that it creates a wake of death and demolition in its path. Literally death, okay? Millions and millions of people are dying across Earth now because of what's happening in the stock markets and in the financial markets and in the commodity markets. It's utterly ruthless. These softwares, they don't care. They're just doing their job. They make profits for the people at the very, very tippity top who own the earth. So that thing is ultimately working against you unless you can work in favor with it. So that's the energy of the relationship, okay? When we go back to this little card, I know I'm really probably way overdoing it on this reading here, but my feeling here is that this is about you, necessary, in relationship with the overlords, where it's very important to understand that you cannot be a victim. It's not allowed. You're not allowed to allow yourself to be a victim of the software, the algorithm, okay? It's designed to work for you in such a way that it's supposed to build your portfolio, okay? Increase your retirement fund and everything. But there's a flip side to it as well, which can be detrimental. Like when things go down, things can go down really bad. And then you end up thinking like, wow, I would have been better off if I had just bought a piece of land, you know? And it's very, very hard to understand or do these things, but it's about relationships. Also, it's very important, like on individual relationship terms, to understand, like, if you are in, let's say, no judgment here, but unhealthy relationships where you're having to dumb yourself down financially, spiritually, emotionally to accommodate certain other people, that's ultimately hurting you in terms of your own wealth and abundance. Even though you might be very compassionate and you might just be being diplomatic, but you have to understand the big picture here. Money happens in relationship to other people, other people's money, OPM. The South Node is Scorpio right now. That's the whole world of OPM. People need to understand other people's money. That's your savings accounts, your IRAs, the tax man, all of that. The North Node energy is directing all of us to take account and be accountable and take custody of our own wealth by being our own custodians, being our own wealth managers, rather than outsourcing to relationships that are ultimately potentially very fragile and detrimental. So what's the, how do we deal with that? What's the problem here? Okay, it feels to me like what you're actually trying to do is heal yourself. Provide your own healing when it comes to finances. It also makes me feel is that deep down in your own way, there's a part of you which is extremely kind, very accommodating, and very, very generous with your time and energy and resources, and that every now and again you might have had a tendency to give away or share too much simply because you can. It's almost this feeling like oh, I have an infinite supply, I'm going to be just fine. But there are certain really tough reality checks happening in the global financial markets, and you can see it in the charts, that are making people wake up. The chart doesn't just do this all day, every day. More. It does this. Oh, whoa, yeah, and then flat line, die. And a lot of those things are out of your control. And even if you've built a certain degree of stability and abundance, you don't want to mess with that by basically being overly generous or overly accommodating or overly trusting, okay? My feeling here is that you're such a natural giver, such a natural healer, and you want what's best for everybody, but you're also very fierce about doing it the right way. Like, you do not abuse the energy of our maker, our the source energy. You do not abuse that. Some people do. And there are some very dark people out there who do very dark things. I'm talking about dark soul energy. In other words, the absence of temperance, the absence of healing. So my feeling is that you probably know this. You probably know that you could be your own worst enemy in terms of kindness and generosity. And you might have taken it too far, and now you're realizing, oh my God, I might have been too kind, too generous, too accommodating, too understanding with someone or something, and you're starting to regret the decisions you might have made recently or for a long time in the past. So what are we going to do about it? You can't afford to just permanently give out of kindness and love. There has to be like a reality check at some point. Like you can't live on credit cards, for example, forever. You can't live on your mom and dad forever. And so on and so on. So how are we going to deal with this? You can't. I don't feel like you can trust one particular person or one particular relationship forever. Everything is convulsing and changing and shifting right now, okay? Chris is saying something here. Okay, necessary. Chris is saying something. It's something like, okay, here, get this, okay? Chris is saying something. It's like, to me it feels like, hey TL, I've been trying to tell her something like this for a long time, but she's programmed for kindness and generosity, and it's difficult for me to get that bad news over to her in the way that she needs to know. Okay? So that's kind of what I just felt here from Chris. So how are we going to deal with this situation? Okay, well, obviously with the Six of Wands, you're going to figure it out. This is very much about a sign of victory. And of course, coming around, coming out of the depths, out of the murkiness, out of the, I would say, the quicksand. To me, this feels like quicksand. A very, very subtle form of quicksand. And you're going to get out of it some way. Now, I need to go back here a little bit, because in a way that is the method of entrapment for building wealth using the credit system, off of which the banking and the credit and the lending system works. It's kind of a form of entrapment. Mortgage, the word mortgage, my mother always used to tell me this. She's French. She basically said it's an abbreviation for engaged to death. The mortgage is like being a shackle to the day you die. Like once you take on these enormous debts, like with cars, houses, careers, credit cards, people can get themselves into debt for tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And you get to the point where you can't actually get out of debt. Some people file bankruptcy. We're lucky in the United States. We have bankruptcy laws which allow you to fail. Because it's on the understanding that the people who lent you all this money have to understand that they are taking a risk on you, and it's not a complete ironclad commitment. They are gambling on your success. They can't guarantee your success in the ability to repay. So in the United States, the bankruptcy laws protect the borrower from predatory lenders, but it's still a very, very precarious way to live. So when I sensed quicksand here, my feeling is that it's really important that you look at your life, your world, your job, your career, your portfolio, and look for any indications of what I would call quicksand, where everything might look okay, but you might have this sinking feeling, like something doesn't smell right about this particular investment, or this particular relationship, or this particular promise, or this particular contract with these particular people in this particular circumstance. To me, it feels like it's really important to tap into your King of Cups energy and be utterly, utterly ruthless in the way that love is expressed. In other words, love is a very, very, very valuable energy. And it's not something that you waste or squander on dead earth, shallow ground, fallow, whatever the expression is. Something about it, the Bible. Don't throw your seed on fallow ground. And the King of Cups is saying that. You might want to be generous. You might want to plant seeds here and bring hope and prosperity to others. But there's no point in planting those seeds or investing your good, hard-earned money in dead ground, hollow soil, or quicksand. So, my feeling here is that in a way, it's a very strange way the message is coming out, but it feels very strong to me, okay? It's like you already know. You will fully understand what we're talking about here, but it's just kind of an awkward subject because it kind of contradicts your core loving nature. And then you end up having to do stuff that like you'd rather not do. You don't. It's not a very savory experience. It's not very much fun to actually have to go digging deep into the relationship dynamics, dig into the portfolio, perhaps get into the small print and find out what is actually going on here. Because if something smells wrong, if something doesn't feel quite right, you've got an extremely powerful intuition, okay? Follow that intuition and dig deeper to find out if you're dealing with like an investment or a portfolio or an asset or a relationship that has the characteristics of quicksand. If so, it might be better to just cut the losses, get out, and restructure, okay? Rather than trying to prop up the quicksand. It's almost like the worst thing you could do is pour love, more healing, more energy, more caring into a pit of quicksand. So, it's like by reading these two together, understanding that the context that I've presented here, you can succeed, and you will succeed, but it does require the application of this very, very strong, uncompromising, masculine energy. You are very female, very feminine, but you also have enough strength as represented here to tap into it. You might not feel like you own it directly, but you can tap into it. It's there, it's accessible for you, and it needs to be used almost ruthlessly. It's almost like being ruthless with yourself about your finances and the relationships with finances, and forgive yourself, pardon yourself for being naturally so kind or compassionate or empathic that you don't really want to deal with these things in case you hurt other people. Like, let's say you decide there's an aspect of your portfolio which you realize, by God, I have to plug that hole. It's a leak. It's quicksand. It's a slow drain, or it might be a rapid collapse, whatever it is. And then you're in a very difficult position of having to go to that person or people who manage that part of the portfolio and say, listen, I need to close out. And then they come and tell you, what are you thinking of? This is the best thing in your whole thing. And you say, nah, I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. And then they start to pressure you. And then you have to do what might not come naturally, but you have to trust yourself. It's time to clean up. It's time to, anything that looks like quicksand, just get out. Cut your losses and get out. Don't plug it up. Don't try to save it. Okay? Don't cast your pearls before swine. Oh, there you go. Okay. Hello, Ivona. Somebody said hello, Ivona. So Ivona's here somewhere. All right, so you're going to be okay, all right? Necessary, you're going to be okay. You will prevail, but it requires you being extremely strong and utterly committed to your own self-healing here. You don't have to worry about healing other people right now. It's about healing yourself by patching up your finances, your portfolio, your savings, your investments, and all the relationship dynamics that come with all of that, okay? All right, so there's your reading. Thank you very much. Mr. Ross, good evening. All right, let's have a look here. All right, so I'm going to wrap up this mini reading. Thank you, Necessary. Thank you, Chris. He's a good fellow. Chris is a good fellow. I have a feeling we would have enjoyed each other's company in 3D. All right, let's have a look. Greetings, Ivona. Tell us, how are you doing with all your furry friends? How is everybody? Oh, Ivona, I wanted to ask you something. You remember, I don't know, a year or two ago, we had a fun get together, and what was it now? Remember, you told me you had this great idea, and we were talking about how do you protect an invention, or how do you get something like a prototype bit. And the invention was how to have like a multi-cat litter box that has a very advanced cleaning system. However, that worked, because as you know, when you have to clean a litter box for multiple indoor cats, it can be kind of a not the most favorite activity. And so you had some kind of awesome idea. I don't know if it was technical or mechanical or electrical or whatever, but it was about like a super advanced huge litter box that kind of cleans itself, and I think all you have to do is pour in the litter. Anyway, TL, I've booked a reading. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, hello, Ave. So, looks like we're going to be doing a mini reading, okay? All right. Here we go. Okay, I got to do a couple of checkups here. So bear with me while I talk to. I'm going to go over here, put the little astrodoodle for today, just as a reminder here. Because I just got to go do a little tiny bit of homework here. It's, I guess you could call it channel management. And then, yeah, I'm trying to do that right now. Okay. Chat amongst yourselves. Perfect. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, okay, I got it. Thank you, Necessary. I got it. Alrighty, here we go. Alright. Let's get back to work, people. I'm going to put this over here. Clickety click. And then we'll tuck that over here. Alright, here we go. Alright, Ave. Thank you for your patience. Now, for whatever reason, for quite a long time now, we've been doing almost all readings as blind readings. Sometimes we get a one-word subject, like earlier tonight, we had a reading with Mazda, and that was about career. Sometimes it helps to have a one-word focus. If it gets like a very long, complicated question or a situation, it can actually be counterproductive in terms of how the reading plays out. So, give me a second, I'm just trying to arrange everything so I can actually work here. Let me get you your magic post-it note. This can't work without the note, okay? I can't read that. Now, if you've got one particular one-word theme in mind, feel free just to let me know. Otherwise, I'm totally comfortable going completely blind. And anything could come up. If you're okay with a situation like that, basically, it's like whatever message needs to come up for you tonight. Whatever it is that you need to know that would not be apparent in your life, in your world experience, without deliberately, let's say, opening the gate to that experience, okay? So, And I need to shuffle up just a tiny bit more, if you don't mind. I can't seem to get my songs to come up and play. I'm really trying, but honestly, I feel that the real problem is my computer. Like, all the softwares are operating simultaneously, and it's taking my computer to the limit. So what I'm going to do here is give myself a little break, okay? And I can shuffle up for you, all right? Okie dokie. I wonder if any of you could imagine doing a snake dance to that music. Here we go. Alright, Dave, let's have a look. I'm keeping an eye on the chat there, okay? You don't have to do anything, okay? Don't worry about it. Hey guys, don't worry about it. Whatever comes up is what comes up. Sometimes it's just better to abandon yourself to the experience and just let it be what it is. It's a very strange thing here. I was trying to explain this to someone I love very much. We love each other very, very much. And we have so many wonderful exchanges. I was trying to explain. Okay, sorry, give me a second here. I want to try and give you a little bit of, what's the word, background. So, because I've been doing like this stuff here on YouTube for about 4 or 5 years or something. And everything went really, really well, really, really quickly. And then I got attacked, as you know, unrelenting attacks, algorithm destroyed, blah, 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 blah. Here we are today. I'm still alive, and I'm still doing mini readings, but it's on a very diminished scale. And some people have asked me, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? You know, it's issues about money. If you put so much into it, you deserve to be well compensated, well rewarded, and so on and so on. And sometimes I feel that I get all sort of pissed off and grumpy, like why don't I have like 300,000 subscribers and I can just live off advertising and just do random videos for free? Because that would be an awesome scenario for me. You know, think about it. I would never have to ask for donations. I just show up. A bunch of people show up and say, hey, can I have a reading? And I say, okay, who are you? All right, here you go. Da, 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 da. And then I get thousands of subscribers. And then YouTube looks at me and goes, oh, what's happened to his channel? You know, maybe we should flip the algorithm again. We can start collecting advertising money off TL. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Because there's some of the channels that I know, one in particular, she's a very successful astrologer, and it all comes really from the advertising from the channel, rather than having to sell readings or sell or collect money or ask for donations for the live mini readings or things like that. So it's different for everybody, but things are the way they are right now. And so my friend was asking me, like, okay, so now you've explained that, why don't you just do mediumship? You can already do it. You do it with live people in real time, with real people. You can also do it from people who've passed over, and pets and animals. So why don't you do that? Some people make huge livings and they travel all over the world with that. And it's like, I don't know, I guess if that was going to happen, it would have happened. I don't really know. I never had a master plan, to be honest. And then the astrology. Someone here very special said, why do you just keep telling everybody that you're just a, like a naive amateur astrologer? Where in fact, I've been doing this for years, and I've done a lot of very serious in-depth astrology for people. So why don't you call yourself a professional astrologer? So I'm trying to get my head around all this concept, like, maybe I'm the one who's actually been damaging my own credentials without even knowing it. Anyway, let's keep going. I just want to say also the thing about the tarot. The cards, I don't do the tarot like I was taught, and I learned all about the tarot from strictly by the book. And I kept thinking, this is not working for me. There's so much more going on besides what's in the books. So I just thought, screw it, I'm just going to go for it. And so I did. And what it did is it kind of released me. It gave me like wings. It gave me room to breathe. And so that's just how I've kept going ever since. So I give myself permission to have a lot of leeway on the interpretation as we do a card reading. Okay, I just wanted to give that to you in advance of your reading. Okay, like anything can happen basically. Of course, this is a public setting, so I'm not going to do anything that's really awkward. But if something needs to be taken care of, we can do that. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Don't worry, Eve. Alright, cards are well shuffled. I just want to do the last little spin. I haven't told you tonight, but I don't do reversals, and I'm not pulling any surprise jumper cards. I'm not even using oracles these days. I just do a very simple spread. I can do much more advanced spreads in private readings, but on the live shows I just do the little situational spread. And I love it, and it works. It's bulletproof, and it really, really helps a lot, okay? So, Eve, let's see what's going on. What messages do we have here tonight on Tarot Lumination Sunday Night Live mini readings for Eve? All right, let's have a look. Bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless all the technology. Bless the cameras, the lights, the microphones, the cables, the electricity, the platform, the computers, the softwares, all of it. And the brains behind all of it. All right, Eve, let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it, okay? Now, from your notes on the screen, it feels very diffuse, okay? So I'm already making some advanced notes inside of myself here, and I'm starting to attribute, like, pointers, because I'm going to bring up the astrology in just a moment, okay? I'm going to look at external influences here. Okay, so the Seven of Swords energy. So to me this feels very, very, this is a very precarious energy. Sometimes you can think of this as black ice. I know it's the middle of summer and we're in North America here. I can't remember where you are, Ave, but sometimes when I see the Seven of Swords, I think of the energy of black ice. Black ice, Ave, hold on. Black ice is kind of an interesting, quirky phenomenon. It's very common in the United States in the cold months when there is ice on the roads. It's a type of ice that happens typically late overnight when the weather is just right for ice to form, and it creates a thin sheet, a very pure thin sheet of very, very hard ice on top of a road surface. And then that surface gets covered with like loose snow or dust or leaves or branches or something, so you don't even know it's there. And you can be driving along a street and then you try to turn the steering wheel and nothing happens. It's almost like, uh-oh, whoa. I don't know if you've ever lived through a black ice experience, but it's very, very disturbing. You become aware that you have absolutely no control over your vehicle. It's like it was stolen from you. The control was stolen from you. Of course it wasn't. It's just black ice, but it can feel very disturbing and very scary. Okay? So when I see the Seven of Swords here, I'm going to be looking at the Neptune energy, all right? So let me go over here. Another way to look at the Seven of Swords is the energy of deception. Okay? Let me put the image up here very closely. I hope it comes up in clear focus. There you go. It's the energy of stealth. It's the energy of potential deception. It's the potential energy of genius, doing whatever has to be done to get done what has to be done. It could be the energy of theft, like, piracy. My first concern is my first concern here is to beware. It's like beware that you need to be aware. It makes me feel is that you need to be aware. When I look at the Neptune energy, like we've been on a very long journey. It's a 14-year journey from Neptune through each sign. Okay, and we've been going through about 10 years already of Neptune in Pisces. So the energy of Neptune has been extremely strong because Neptune is in its own house, the 12th house Pisces energy. In basic Western astrology, the Pisces energy can be associated with universal love, love that transcends all understanding. It's the energy of sacrifice. It's the energy of martyrdom. It's the energy of loving despite something or someone not being worthy. We love anyway. But there's a shadow side to the energy where it's to do with another expression of the 12th house here, to do with the house, they call this the house of hidden enemies. It's like where the energy of sabotage occurs, and that includes self-sabotage. It also includes the energy of sickness, betrayal, deception, lies, manipulation, confusion, delusion, misunderstanding, insanity, being deprived and falling apart and dying through death and disease, and then suffering loss and deprivation without any form of understanding. It's a very the shadow, the opposite side of the beautiful side of Neptune is the wonder of imagination and the connection to divine, the connection to heaven, the direct connection to universal love. So when it's at that super ultra high frequency, just imagine the flip side of that, because all these energy fields have a flip side energy. The wonders of Pluto and the terrors of Pluto. The wonders of the sun and the terrors of the sun, okay? So, my feeling is that you said the word lately, so you can't put a finger on it. So sometimes it's extremely hard to discern what's wrong, what feels wrong, why things are wrong, and that I would almost always attribute that to some kind of Neptunian aspect here. So depending on where Neptune is sitting in your personal astrology chart right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we did a really deep dive personal reading and I did all the preps with the astrology, we would find that Neptune here is sitting on a very particularly sensitive or delicate or vulnerable aspect of your own personal astrology. And that could translate into exactly what you just described, where there's aspects of your life where you can't even put it in words, like, what's wrong with it? I don't know. Something doesn't feel right. Love, relationships, money, housing, family, the world, everything. It can be a scary place. But to get definition, sometimes it's extremely hard to do. And so there's several messages coming here. Number one is beware of, in simple terms, beware of liars, thieves, theft, deception, betrayal in terms of communications, about how people are communicating with you, what they want you to believe, what they want you to hear. Okay, that's external energy. On a bigger, more universal scale, please understand that this Neptune energy has been affecting the whole of planet Earth, in how humanity has allowed itself to be deceived by other aspects of humanity. And it's really disgusting and it's really, really squalid, but that's where we are now. And it's almost like the art of deception. And you wouldn't even know that you're being deceived until after the deception has occurred. So with the Seven of Swords here, my feeling is like, let's flip this to your benefit. It's very, very important for you right now. Remember, this is an external energy. It's not you. It's external energy. Let's take this as a message. Like right now for you, Ave, it's very important that you need to be extremely alert to, I would say, what's real and what's not real in your life. What's true, what's not real. What's true, what's not true in your life. And you need to be extremely stealthy. You need to be extremely clever. You need to be extremely astute in how you navigate your life going forward. Because with the energy of black ice, it's also quicksand. Quicksand also correlates very strongly with Neptune. With the black ice, it's like you could be entering a situation that appears rosy, only to discover that there's something really unhealthy or toxic. And that could be in finances, that could be in relationships, it could be in locations where you're living and conducting your life. It could be with external influence where people are telling you how to live your life. What you should do. If you're feeling lost, you need to do this. You need to do that. You'd be much better off if you were this person, or if you left them and went with them, or did this or did that. Just be extremely careful. Be prepared to kind of. I'm going to do a little bit of acting here. Be prepared to do a little bit of acting where you might have to go. Let's say you're dealing with a situation. Sorry about the disappearing hat. It's just let me see if I can mess with the lighting. Hold on. I don't know if that's going to help. I'm messing around with more lighting. But let's say you're in situations where you're just navigating your day-to-day life, going in and out of a grocery store, driving here or there, talking to someone, friends or family, trying to do work, trying to do business, trying to survive in a career, just trying to get through day-to-day life. And you start to realize after this reading that there's a lot of information, knowledge. Let me say that again. A lot of so-called information, so-called knowledge, so-called news, so-called depictions of life and reality that are being presented to you, perhaps from friends and family, or the media, social media, or a work environment, or a very close relationship. And it's all coming at you in what appears to be a very sincere way. And you're starting to feel like, man, there's something not right about this, whatever it is. But you're not in a position where you can go, you know what? Fuck you. You're full of it. I know you're a liar. You're a thief. I know the radio station is lying to me. I know the TV people, the propaganda, the news people. I know you're all lying to me. But the way I'm sensing it here for you, Ave, is just like everything appears to be true and real and sincere and honest. And you're starting to smell fake. Something's wrong. And it's not you. Okay? That's the beauty here. It's not you. And it's important that you kind of put yourself in a very analytic frame of mind. This is a very mental thing with the Seven of Swords here, where you give yourself like a 10-second rule. For example, if you receive a piece of information or hear something or chat with something or find something on the internet or news, and you think, oh, wow, it's amazing. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then if something kind of goes, Ave, 10-second rule. Think about it for a moment before acting or making decisions. And please be willing with yourself to take it to the point where if you have to, you act with someone. You act as fake as they are. Like, oh, sure, yeah, I understand. I know exactly what you're talking about. Sure, we'll do that, man. Of course, I'll see you there. Bye. Got it. Yeah. And that's not real, okay? But it's like, how do you navigate in the world of a spy, okay? You end up having to think like a spy and behave like a spy to be able to engage and navigate with spies who are the masters of deception. So my feeling here with the Seven of Swords, above all, it's be prepared to keep your eyes really wide open and give yourself a 10-second leeway to see things exactly as they really are, and then take very subtle, very, very, what I would call clever, evasive action, so that you do not become a victim of black ice or fraud or fake or misperception or misrepresentation. Okay? You can help yourself in this way. Let me go back to the reading now. All right, here's the situation. Let's have a look at it. Okay. So it might be something to do with a relationship. This doesn't necessarily mean you and somebody else. My feeling this might be more to do with yourself. You might be coming to a point where you're realizing, wow, I've actually really hurt myself unwittingly. I have been my own worst enemy. I've actually been the one punishing myself, and I don't deserve this. Other interpretations, or popular ones, is that you would be in a relationship and then to discover betrayal, deception, lies, where you thought and believed and understood that things were a certain way between yourself and a certain other, only to discover that there is a third party involved that is basically screwing things up. But either way you look at it, it's like the damage is already done. If you're living in a situation where there is betrayal, deception, lies, theft, and you feel like it's not you didn't ask for this, and you're discovering it or you're realizing it, it could be in anything. Honestly, Ave, it could be a partner, a mate, a spouse, a lover, a sweetheart, a parent, a sibling, a work partner, a work associate, any sort of person where you gave the energy of trust. Okay, it's like a mental concept, like a mental contract that you gave between yourself and the other person. Perhaps an unwritten contract, but a contract by assumption. A contract by convention. People like, well, we'll just trust each other. Only to realize later on, wow, big mistake. And then you can look closer in the mirror like, oh my God, who else can I blame here? Yes, you could blame the third party, the interloper. You could blame the other person. And then you could blame yourself. My feeling is that all three of those options are floating around right now, but in some ways the only way to really own the situation is take it upon yourself and forgive yourself. We haven't finished the reading yet, but with the Three of Swords here, we're just looking at the situation. And the situation looks like a very stark, blunt, open, no longer hidden deception, betrayal, theft, lie, perhaps with money, a job, a person, a sweetheart, whatever it is. Or maybe the world lied to you. Maybe your mainstream media is lying to you, and it's devastating to learn the truth that there are some very ugly things happening out there, and they don't want you to know it, so they're smothering you with propaganda, distraction, lies, movies, whatever it is, games, anything, sport, anything to distract you from the truth. And then you discover, let's say, deception and betrayal on a global scale. It is utterly heartbreaking. It's utterly disgusting. It's very tragic. It's not your fault. All right. If it is a person, if it's a sweetheart, then it's very, very straightforward. We're doing what we're dealing with. Now, what's the problem here? Okay, in a simplistic way, it's just like, what the hell are we going to do now? Let's just say, whether we like it or not, we just kind of touched on a nerve here. You did show up here, you were intrigued, you thought, let's just do it. So you decided to book a mini reading, so now you've got a mini reading, and here it is. It's coming out on stage, in public, that there is some kind of pain, deception, and betrayal, and it is right there with you. And it's probably very painful for you, and it might have been building up, and now it's very clear, it's very, very evident. In fact, you might have only received pure validation of how real this is by coming to this reading. So now let's just say, obviously I can't prove this with hard 3D facts, but in the spirit realm, in the realm of spirit, this looks like 100% validation that you've either been screwed, or you screwed yourself, or you wittingly or unwittingly, because you were enjoying what seemed to be awesome, but turns out it's not. And so you got left in a situation like, oh my God. To me, this feels like an extremely tight, compressed reading now in terms of time, where this and this combined, we're suddenly touching a nerve here. Like it or not, we have touched a nerve. You don't have to put anything on the screen if you don't want to, but like you said, it's between yourself and yourself. And how this is hurting. And then the big question is like, because sometimes, like if you feel unworthy or incapable of loving or being loved, and you might have been extremely hard on yourself, you might be unwittingly, without knowing it, you might be a real expert at self-sabotage. Some people, you could have you could be like some kind of college professor or something, or some kind of like corporate financial genius or something, and yet maybe when it comes to love and relationships, you're an expert at self-sabotage, and that would probably show up in an astrology reading somewhere. And then like, oh my God, I am the author of my own demise. Oh no, and that almost makes the pain worse. So you're left with a kind of a very scary scenario, like what the bleep am I supposed to do now? But it makes me feel as though, like, please understand, your life, your world, your sense of identity, your sense of self, your sovereign self your individual sovereign self is not contingent upon a relationship. Okay? Very, very, very important to understand that. In other words, like some people feel that they are nobody and that they're nothing without a relationship or the right relationship. You know, like I have to get married. I have to get married, or I have to have a marriage and kids, or I have to have a boyfriend. I have to have a girlfriend. And it's almost like extreme panic if they don't have that. Okay, let me go to the charts again here a second, quickly. With this energy, this very, very powerful Aries energy here, with Chiron right in the middle here. Chiron in Aries represents the wounded warrior, the wounded self, the wounded healer. And everybody on earth is feeling it right now. Everybody is acutely aware of how we have been our own worst enemies, including allowing other external predators to prey on us. It's no longer acceptable. So millions and millions and millions of people across Earth right now are rising up. They're tapping into the Mars energy. They're tapping into the supreme confidence of Jupiter energy, saying enough is enough is enough. A classic example is all the millions of Falun Gong people in China and other parts of the world who are now openly, very energetically saying it's time to end the CCP. It's time to stop the CCP. It's time to stop the evil CCP. Now that's a very dangerous thing to say, even for me on this channel. But there are millions. It's a very vivid news fact that these Falun Gong people have decided enough. We're not just going to sit here and be abused anymore, murdered, exploited. We are going to rise up. It's very, very powerful energy of selfhood, and I see it about the reclamation of the sovereign self. It's about time, okay, that those people, or yourself. So it's like the same thing for you. You have a right to stand up for yourself and reclaim your sovereign self. So if things have been really like just plain shitty for you for a while, or even for a long time, and maybe you've been blaming yourself. Well, there is that part of it. But also there are people out there who are predators. There are people who prey on other people's compassion, weakness, kindness, generosity, their loving, caring nature. Especially if you have that inside of you and then discover, like, wow, I really got upped. Okay? So you're left with this sudden like shock awareness, like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? This is very much a card about the future. What does my future look like? Where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to be me? Who am I to the world? What is the world to me? Is there anyone out there for me? Am I here for anybody? What the hell is going on? A big, big, huge, fat, scary question. Okay? Oh, look at the notes there. Look at, like, I've always felt unloved. That's the problem. Self-sabotage is my second name. Oh my God. Okay, I'm really glad you came here tonight, Eve. So it's good to get this out here. That's the whole point of this particular spread, of doing these readings. You've got to reveal it to heal it. It's like doing testimony in public, admitting openly in public, wow, I am my own worst enemy. I admit it. I realize now. Self-sabotage. It's a highly refined skill, and I own it. Well, now we can do something about it. Self-sabotage can be cured. Okay, how are we going to do this going forward? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Call it out. Yell it out. It's time, Eve. It is time to tap into your truth. It's time to just, to me it feels like, I don't know whether this is something with the recent Cancer new moon, a while ago. All right, the moon is over here in Virgo, right? But we just had the Cancer new moon here a few days ago. Oh, what's today? Today's the 3rd. The new moon was on the 28th of June, so you wouldn't feel it till about the 1st of July. So now it's starting to pick up momentum, and soon we're going to have a full moon over here in July. That's going to be the Cancer Capricorn full moon. And so my feeling now is that you're kind of on like a new moon ascending wave. And when we reach the full moon in Capricorn, in around, let me just find some dates here. I think it'll be around the 12th or 13th. I don't know, wait a minute. Where is the, give me a second here, I just want to check. Alright, 12, 13, okay. So as you get closer and closer towards the 13th of July, pay attention to your life and your world experience and try to resonate back to this reading here, and I'm hopefully it will make more sense to you, okay? So with the King of Swords here, it makes me feel like it's almost like exactly what you were doing right now. Like, you see the way Path Traveler just jumped in there? Dear Aive, please read the notes from Path Traveler, okay? Path Traveler is very gifted, very loving person with a lot of experience, okay, with me, all the stuff that we do here. And when I see the King of Swords, my feeling is that the way forward here, Aive, is to be really, utterly, ruthlessly honest with yourself now going forward. Do not shy away from what we have discovered here, from what we have unearthed here. Like if it really is true, in several bullet points, just here in the chat, where you have disclosed full disclosure here in public, you know, like you feel unloved, self-sabotage is your second name, you feel lonely, okay? Nobody knows you. People are around you, but it's not helping. These are very, very, very important words that you're typing out on the screen. If you're not aware of it, you're actually healing yourself right now by, let's say, being extremely honest with yourself. I would say take advantage of the Jupiter-Mars collection of energy right now and give yourself permission to be ruthless, absolutely ruthless with your language about yourself towards yourself. Like, let's get it out here. It's almost like the way I feel it. Okay, of course it's not going to happen really. It's just like, you know what? Let's do this. You know what? Come on, Aive. Come on. Let's do this. Let's get it all out here. How bad is it? How bad does it suck? Let's make a list. What about finances? What about career? What about health? What about your looks? What about your catchability? Has anybody got the hots for you? They're after you? Have you got the hots for someone? You're after them? And how is that all working? Huh? Let's get it all out there. I think that's what the King of Swords energy is about here. It's like being, let's just throw all the crap and worry away. It's easy. It would be okay to be emotional understanding, because it feels to me like this is a lot of stuff that's probably been backed up for a long time. A lot of it unwitting. Okay, not being ready, willing, or able to have really blunt, ruthless, open conversations about these things, because that's where it's going to start, and it starts exactly the way it's happening right now in the chat, for example. Like, for whatever reason, Path has found a connection with you. She understands very acutely what you are dealing with. And so, you know, maybe you guys should work together, do something, okay? We can set that up, I don't know. But anyway, with the King of Swords, this is the way forward. It's time to reclaim your sovereign self, your true self. not the self that is reflected back to you, or what has been told to you, or how you have been conditioned or programmed or manipulated into believing who you are. Because that's obsolete. It's obviously not working. What needs to happen is a great reset. Wink, wink. A great reset where you recalibrate everything so you can get back to your true sovereign self, where your body, your mind, and your heart, or in your soul, they're all in alignment. Everything is like working properly. When you're angry at something, you have a right to be angry. Now, do you express it, or do you punish, or do you... What do you do with that? But you have to know thyself. You have to know your energy from deep inside. Ultimately, be loving, be loved. But being loving doesn't mean being a pussy or a wuss or someone who automatically believes anything and everything that someone told them because someone might be older or they might have credentials or PhDs or something. No, your truth is your truth. It's no one else's. And what we're tapping into is universal truth. The truth that's unequivocal, unambiguous to the whole planet. Okay? The sun comes up, the sun goes down, you know. We just need to get you to, well, we don't need to get you. You're at that point. You're already at this threshold. To me, it feels like this reading came on almost like a car crash, like black eyes. And now you're here getting a tarot illumination reading in public and seeing what it's like. This is what we do here all the time. Okay, look. Okay, here's an example. What's that? Have you ever heard of that stuff? Neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, look at your last note there. And you're conversing with Path right now. I'm going to intervene here. It says, look, JNR, I am doing my best, Path, but it's just not working. Do you see what you did there? It's classic self-sabotage. It's just not working. You are what you think, having become what you thought. You are what you say, having become what you said, and so on. So you've just, essentially, you've condemned yourself without even knowing that you've condemned yourself. And then you end up condemned. And then you look around you like, why am I condemned? Well, it doesn't make any sense. And then there's nowhere else to look. Oh my God, it was me all along. Ah! You know? So, like I swear to God, Path is absolutely spot on here with all this stuff. If you are a classic example of someone who has been at the mercy of programming or influence, external influences, in such a way where you've kind of lost direction, you've lost that sense of sovereign self, and you are now at a point where it needs to be recovered, this is a big deal. I'm really happy for you, because you've got to reveal it to heal it. It's important. I think it's really, really important. I'm really glad you came here tonight and you booked this reading. Thank you so much. I can't do much more right now, live or from a distance. These are just live mini readings, but I think we've touched on something very, very important here. Okay? Yeah. It looks to me like this is just like it's time to take care of this. It's your life, you're living, you make your own decision, but this is a very vivid, almost like shock therapy. Okay, let's go back over here. I'm going to clear up now. Thank you so much, Ave. It was a real honor to read for you. What happens next, of course, that's up to you. It's your life. I'm not a certified psychiatrist, doctor, or anything. I have a waiver on my channel. If you read in the About section, it tells people like tarot readings are essentially on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Now, of course, we take it a little bit farther here, but I have to kind of state that to people and clients. That always comes with any contract that we do when we're working together, okay? Seriously, Ave, Path is a genius at this stuff. You're in very, very good company here, okay, Ave? You're in a healing environment. Alright, I'm just going to clear that up. It looks like we're done for the evening. I don't see any more bookings, so I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? Whew, jeepers, man. It felt like we did a lot of extended readings. Thank you so much, everybody. Let me go over here for a second. How am I going to say this? Another way to say this. I'm not a licensed... I don't have lots of PhDs or doctor of this or doctor of that. But I love doing what I do. And I clarify things up front when I work with clients. And I've helped, I don't know, thousands of people. I've done thousands of readings with astrology and tarot. And, you know, I hope I can keep going. Alright, so, right now, I'm kind of sad I can't get my songs up and running tonight. I'll have to work at that. It's the technology. I know they're on my computer system here. I know I can get them to broadcast. I've done it before many times, but it's not working tonight. So listen, everybody, thanks for visiting. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for booking. Thank you for the donations. Be loving. Be loved. I know it sounds so simple for me to say it. It's the hardest thing that there is to do. Love is as love does. Think of it that way. Love is energy in motion. So you can have academic, theoretical, hypothetical understandings of love. You can have discussions and seminars about love. You can have expectations and fantasies and ambitions about love and what you think it is. Some people just think of it as just purely love and romance or sex and babies and orgasms and all that, but it's so much more. Love is as love does. Oftentimes love is a very, very inconvenient thing for a lot of people. If you think of a mother or like a doctor in the military front lines, a very loving doctor has to make very tough decisions sometimes where someone is very close to passing over and someone is definitely going to survive, but the doctor only has enough time and resources. What do? What is the most loving thing to do at that time? Very, very difficult. Okay? Often love is like deliberately putting yourself at a state of discomfort or inconvenience in order to basically like offer a leg up or some comfort or spiritual guidance and assistance to someone else who needs it and needs it from you, in order that you can evolve yourself and that the other party can evolve or the other parties can evolve and go from there. Sometimes being loving is very inconvenient and very hard work. But love is as love does. It does require action. It requires making decisions to deliberately extend the healing power of love. Think of love as an energy field. And it comes out through your hands, it comes through your voice, it comes through your skin, it comes through your aura, it comes through your chakras, all of it. We're just instruments. We're instruments of the healing power of love. So you might as well be loving. Okay? Thank you so much, Path. I think there was a reason that you are here tonight. I know you didn't get a reading or you don't really need a reading. because you've been a gift. I feel like you've really extended yourself here in a very loving way with Aiv. It's a very super ultra high density reading. Thank you, Aiv. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm just going to enjoy the remaining few minutes of Sunday night here in America. And I bless you all wherever you are. Be loving, be loved. Enjoy as much as you can. In America, the Americans are going to celebrate this thing we call the 4th of July. I know there's going to be some fireworks here. We'll see how that goes.